So, everyone feels an emptiness inside at some point in their life. They may feel like they need to do something to fill that emptiness, but in fact, the Christian would say, only Jesus can fill you up completely, and that is true. However, it's not very helpful, because how do you let Jesus fill you up? Well, I've got you covered, because there are 7 ways that you can allow Jesus to actually fill you up. They are incredibly practical, and I'm gonna list them from the least effective to the most effective. They are all incredible, and if you do any of them, then you will drastically feel a difference. However, I'm gonna start with the ones that have had the least impact in my life, going to the ones that have had the most impact in my life. And the first one is the Bible, because it's a living book and God wrote it, and it will speak to anyone who chooses to open it and read it. In fact, I would say the Bible is the way that God speaks to people the most, and it's unlike any other book because God really wrote it through people, and it's the only book that God has really written. And the second way is to spend time doing things with Jesus that you really love, because everyone has things that they really love, and Jesus knows those things that you love. And so if you choose to spend time with him doing the things that you love, it could be doing a sport, or it could be drinking tea, or it could be reading a book. If you do it with Jesus and you are acutely conscious of the fact that he's with you in the room, and that you can be doing it with him, and that you could be maybe listening to him or talking to him, even if you can't see him, you know that he's there, and it will really allow you to be filled up with such a satisfaction that you've never really known before, if you choose to really believe the fact that he's in the room with you. And the third way is to worship. It's to play worship songs and really worship God, even if you don't feel like it. And this, man, confuses the enemy so much, and it means that you are really gonna be filled up, because if you do it despite your situation, and if you praise God even if it doesn't really make sense for you to do it because you don't feel like it, then the enemy is gonna be so confused, and he's gonna just run away from your life, and you're gonna be filled up with Jesus instead. And that is really what everyone wants, because I've experienced this, and I'm gonna say that it's really what you want. And the fourth thing is to listen to God, and this is most effectively done when you go into a quiet, dark room and you choose to silence all distractions and listen to God, and really allow him to speak to you through your mind, and really to give you inspirational thoughts, and to really tell you what you can do today that will make today really epic. And if you allow him to speak to you, then he'll tell you things that are like, whoa, that could never have come into my mind. But that's because Jesus, or God, you could say, spoke to you, and really it was a word from him, and he wants you to do that thing. And the fifth way is to pray and to ask God to actually fill you up from the inside out, because without Jesus it's impossible. And so you're actually asking him to fill you up, which is incredibly effective. And prayer is so underrated that people have no idea. And if you pray this, and you pray for Jesus to fill you up and to give you a new sense of satisfaction, then he will do it in whatever way fits your situation, whether that means someone encouraging you, or someone just really speaking life into you, or just having your situation change because you really want something that you don't have right now. Jesus will do that if you choose to pray to him. And the sixth way is, of course, the most effective way on this list so far, and it's really very similar to praying, and that's to pray with gratitude, because praying isn't just asking God for things. Praying is speaking to God, and the best thing that you can say really to God is thank you for everything that you've given me, and just thank you so much. And the most effective, I'm saying the word effective a lot, but it's true. The most effective way to do this is, I feel, to listen to some atmospheric music, music without any words in it, and just for 5 minutes or for 10 minutes, if you want to make this so revolutionary, for 10 minutes to think of all the things that you're grateful for that you have never really thought about much. Maybe the fact that you have a bed, or the fact that you can eat food whenever you want, or whatever it is, you know. If you love something in your life, then you can be grateful for it in that period of time, in that 5 or 10 minutes, and then you will feel filled up, guaranteed. And the 7th way is to cry out to God and to really express your need for Him. And I did this when I was feeling extremely anxious, extremely socially anxious, and I was feeling like I really didn't know what to do, because this anxiety was just in me and it was really horrible, and I feel like it was so crippling. And I cried out to God. I said, God, show yourself to me, show me that you care about me. And basically at that moment on my phone I got a notification, and it led me to a verse that said, God blesses those who realize their need for Him. And this is exactly what I was thinking about at the time, and it really made me feel like God was right there with me. But that's not where it ended, because I was crying at this point and I was just so emotional. And then the next verse was, God blesses those who mourn, for they will be comforted. And at that point I was so confident that God was with me in that moment, and I felt it and I knew it, and that filled me up from the point when I was at 0 to 100, and I really felt filled up. And so that is, I believe, the most effective way to be filled up is to cry out to God if you really feel low. And those were the 7 ways. I hope that at least one of them was so useful to you, and remember to subscribe and hit the bell and like this video, and check out my 5 book recommendations in the description, because I believe books are also an extra way to be filled up with Jesus. Christian books written by people who've been inspired by God, and check them out in the description. And I hope that you have an incredibly spirit-filled day, and that you feel really satisfied and filled up with Jesus, because you're able to do one of these tips in a practical way. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.